Everybody, welcome back to C6 Impact. Now, I recently posted a clip talking about practicing ADR at home, and I thought instead of me just talking about it, I thought I would make a video and show you. I'm going to dub Ganyu just to show you as an example. Now, in my DAW, which is Logic Pro for multi-track applications, I'm able to select a certain portion of a video like this and play it back.
As a mortal, I've never dared to imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis.
And be able to hear Jen Losi's beautiful voice, of course, right? And that's the section that I'll work on in this video. Again, if I highlight a section like this and select the second track underneath the original sound of the video clip from this video, or any video for that matter, and when I hit the record button, what it's gonna do is record my voice from here into the second track as the first one plays in the background, like this. As a mortal, I've never dared to imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis. Right? And now I have, as you can see, a second track of my voice playing alongside the first track. And if we play it back, as a mortal, I've never dared to imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis. Right, and you can see how that works. And at the same time, I'm not a robot, so I'm not going to dial it in exactly right at the right place. And I'm able to move it left and right as needed to make sure that it lines up. And I think I did a pretty good job here. And I could maybe take this back a little ways here to make that sound a little bit better. Let's try it again. As a mortal, I've never dared to imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis. Right. She and I are two different people, and we're going to say it differently. But you can see how a synchronization from here to here will make sense in a multi-track DAW like this with the video in hand. At the same time, you and I are also aware that that time-to-time dubbing is one thing, and mouth flaps matching is something else. In anime, in live-action dubs, and some other projects, they require a mouth flap dub. Let's take a look at the mouth flaps of Ganyu in this video here real quick. I'm going to zoom into this portion.
As a mortal.
That makes sense, right? You can see the mouth moving as a mortal.
As a mortal.
As a mortal. And then the second part as well.
I've never dared to imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis.
And you can see the English lines are being spoken, and there's some places where the mouth is closed and some places where it's talking. And what I'm going to attempt to do is try to match this line and narrate it in line, in sync with the mouth flaps. What I might first do is take this automation here and just make it quiet so that I don't hear the original line, and I can focus solely on the mouth flaps. Right. And I'll record this. Here we go. As a mortal, I've never dared to imagine a Liyue without... But let's first take a look at this. As a mortal, that one looks okay. As a mortal, right? The mouth flaps match and makes sense. As a mortal, I've never dared. And that I've never dared is not quite syncing up. I've never dared. Right? Her mouth opens a little bit earlier. You can see how her mouth opens there, and my narration is right here. So what I'll do is cut this track and bring it up here like this, and then play it back. I've never dared. Right? I'm going to go ahead and cut out that mistake part. I've never dared. But there's an extra flap in there. Can you see it? I've never dared. There's an extra flap in there. So what I might do is change that line from never dared to never dared, really. Never dared. Never dared, really. Never dared, really. And then same thing, bring the beginning of that mouth flap to the forward to the front, and see what that looks like. I've never dared, really. I've never dared, really. Nah, really is actually two-syllable kind of a thing, so I might go never really dared. Let's see what that looks like. Never really dared. never really dared. Never really dared. Oh, maybe. I've never really dared. Maybe I'll try. I've never really dared. I've never really dared. And if we go just a little bit to the front to match that, right there. I've never really dared. Right? That makes a little bit more sense. And if we put that together with the first part, like this. As a mortal, I've never really dared. Right. And then that kind of has the beginnings of the first part here. And let's see what the rest of it is like. To imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis. So right about there is where we'll end it. And let's try that. To imagine a Liyue. To imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis. To imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis. To imagine a Liyue. And then I might go, since the mouth opening is right there, I might, I'm pretty on spot there, I think, actually. To imagine a Liyue. And without is right there, right? So I might bring that to the front just a bit to the left here. To imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis. Right, that makes sense to me. And if I highlight the whole thing and play it back. As a mortal, I've never really dared to imagine a Liyue without Rex Lapis. Right, now the same line, slightly just modified to add the word really in there for the extra mouth flap. And synchronize with the mouth flap. And then add the sound effects underneath. And now you've successfully practiced ADR at home.